Room heater. Room heater is one of the good example of potential energy to thermal energy where the energy conversions take place from scratch. Basically, in a room heater, the energy transferring process is simple. Here in the room heater, the coil is heated and that radiates energy, which in turn heats and warms the room. There will be minimum amount of energy present in the room heater, and this energy we call it as potential energy. Now when the switch is turned on in order to heat the coil, the potential energy instantly is converted to the thermal energy. Torchlight. Torchlight is a source of light which helps to lighten up the dark. But there is another aspect we need to look into. That being is the energy it releases while being switched on. Here, along with the light energy, even the thermal energy has been received. The torchlight will have the basic and minimum amount of energy present in it, and that is said to be the potential energy. The potential energy is converted to the thermal energy when the torchlight is switched on, and this is a good example of potential energy to thermal energy. Sodium lamp. Sodium lamp is generally used in laboratories for experiments. In experiments like spectroscopy, prism-related experiments, we use the sodium light. The sodium lamp has the energy present in it before being switched on, and that we call it as potential energy. So when the lamp is switched on, the light enters the room along with the minimum amount of thermal energy. While the potential energy is converted into the thermal energy in minimal range, we are able to witness the light energy being given out. Hence, the sodium lamp is one of the good example of potential energy to thermal energy. Gas stove. Gas stove is one of the commonly found appliances in our homes, and we often tend to not look keen into the science part of it. In this appliance, there is an energy conversion taking place which does not look into. Here the potential energy is converted into the thermal energy with the help of an external object. When the appliance is turned on, the potential energy stored in the form of gas has been converted into the thermal energy and also light energy, since the outcome is a fire. Therefore, the gas stove is normal example of potential energy to thermal energy, and using this we can look into other aspects too. Furnace. Furnace is one of the best example of potential energy to thermal energy, which has been used in industries for experimental purposes. For instance, when a sample should be dried after the synthesis process, we make use of the furnace, which has been used with the varying temperatures. Here in this process, the potential energy has been directly converted to thermal energy, since the sample is allowed to dry under high temperatures. The furnace has a combustion chamber which will ignite the series of burner present inside. This process is a continuous one, and it will constantly provide heat to the sample that has been kept inside until the prescribed temperature is reached that is set by the thermostat. Matchsticks. Matchsticks are the best example for the conversion of the potential energy into thermal energy. Tip of the matchstick contains a certain type of chemical which gets ignited on striking a hard surface. The matchstick will have energy stored in the tip, and when we strike it on the hard surface, it instantly gets ignited, giving out fire. So this is a good example of potential energy to thermal energy. Therefore, matchsticks is one of the example of potential energy to thermal energy. The presence of chemicals in the tip is the reason for the conversion, probably. Lighter. Lighter is a basic example of potential energy to thermal energy. This will emit thermal energy in one click. The energy will be saved inside the lighter, and that we call it as potential energy. The potential energy will be converted into thermal energy in one click. Burning of paper. Burning of paper is one of the example of potential energy to thermal energy, which involves complete chemical reaction. There are several other reactions that take place in burning of paper, but we are looking mainly into the conversion of energy reactions. When the paper is burnt, the potential energy is been converted into thermal energy. It happens when the energy present in the fire releases some amount of heat. So we consider it as an example of potential energy to thermal energy. Conduction. Conduction is the process of transferring of the heat energy from one particular substance to another. Here in this section we must focus on how the heat energy is formed. When the conduction process begins, the potential energy present in the substance will instantly get converted into thermal energy. So this is how the potential energy is converted into the thermal energy in a conduction process. Radiation. Radiation is the best example of potential energy to thermal energy. Radiation occurs in different setups. It can be from a conduction process, or even radiation from sun. Solar radiation could be the best example too, and when the energy from the sun is radiated, the potential energy is directly converted into different types of energy, and one of them is the thermal energy. Please visit our website lambdageeks.com for more articles on technology, engineering, mathematics, and various other domains. Scientific calculator and many more other tools.